Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Talking Initiative. I believe I just had it repeat itself on the stream for 2 seconds. That's fixed. Technical problems. Hey. John is frozen to mess with me.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I got so scared.
I saw the slight weeble wobble, and I'm like, "Oh, you tricky bastard!"
It's been one of those days.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Talking Initiative, the show where we all crack our knuckles and make Josh cringe.
No,
No.
no.
Years.
Yeah. Today we're talking about episode 13 and 14, which is the beginning of the place entirely. Yes, the beginning of the end. The beginning of an area that I completely created that is not in the book at all. This is a complete homebrew creation, and I'm very excited for everybody to actually see it. So welcome, everybody. Let me hand the reins over to our resident episode describer.
For 1 second.
Absolutely.
Please
I
do.
just want to, on stream, thank the player who plays Artemis Pruitt in Corpses and Curios for this wonderful little mug thing that she sent me
Adorable.
from the Christmas market in Chicago.
Nice, man. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful and cute.
I also want to take this time before we get into the episode to thank Polish Ogre for his amazing recommendation and commission and art that he drew. That
art
is
that I think
just
Josh should
glorious.
hold up on the camera next to his face
So,
at this moment.
what I will say is you can find the art in Discord. I do not want to put it up on Twitch and then YouTube at this moment because it's a little not safe for work. We could probably get away with it, but it will help if you watch the video and the photo over in our Discord.
Go check out Polish Ogre's Twitter, and you'll see some glorious art that he drew for Josh.
If you're not in the Discord, by the way, if you go over to the website, takinginitiativepodcast.com, go to the Find Us tab, and you can find the Discord link there. We talk about the show. We have Talking Initiative questions, all that kind of stuff there. And we get Polish's wonderful art. So,
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Nick, take it over. What'd we do?
Wait, who is everybody first? Gotta
Oh, yeah.
introduce people.
We're people. Who are we?
Hi.
Who am I?
John, who are you?
I am Bucky, and you can.
Did you have to
I'm
check?
the GM of this game. Yeah, I don't know who I am today. I had a long week. I'm tired, man, and we just got over with the game. But hi, I'm Bucky. I'm the DM of Taking Initiative currently.
Nick, I play Barty McFly. One of my favorite characters ever.
Morgan?
Hi, I'm Morgan. I play Surreal on Taking Initiative.
Drew?
I'm Drew Tillman. I play Zell.
And I'm Josh Perot, and I play Mortimer Greaves.
Yeah.
So, all right, Nick, take the reins.
All right. So episode 13 starts off. We're split up. Never split the party. We decided to do it now. Mortimer and Surreal go to one bar. Zell, Moose, and Barty go to another bar. We both have two very different bar experiences. Mortimer and Surreal just get to relax and talk and sit in their silence because they've been friends for a while, so they know each other, very comfortable with each other. While on the other side, Barty puts on a performance for all the people at that bar, and Moose and Zell are like stalking around the bar trying to get some information. After that, we go for a night's rest, and then we get started on our exploration. We start heading towards the cave. Is it a cave? Temple?
More or less, just
Yeah.
tomb. Yeah.
Where we have to melt and thaw out the door. It takes a while. And basically, the only way to get in is to be blessed by the gods, and we have no idea how to get in, except we realize Zell has somehow been blessed by the gods and gets that door open for us, which is really, really awesome. Thank you for that.
It's because he is a babe and the gods love him.
And then we take on some big tiger cats,
Crickets.
crag cats, and we start to skin them after we kill them, right?
Pelts can
We
get
could-
you some money.
So we could sell some pelts, which is smart because we need that money. But once we get inside the tomb, or inside the cave
tomb.
area, Bucky sets up this really awesome like puzzle for us, which is really cool, involving giant statues and figuring out the riddle of what instruments to put into the flame for us to get through to the next room. So we go and we have Bucky describe every single giant and all of their backstory, and then we use that information to overthink the question, like we tend to always do, and have our debates over what should go into the flames. When we choose wrong, we get hurt, like a big burst of energy or electricity, I believe, like shoots out and damages us. We almost lose another animal, which is a TI staple at this point. And we learn some new information about Jeff, aka the Storm King. Might be a smoke monster. I have no idea. I'm so lost on that one, on that whole Jeff.
Nice
aspect.
pun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But we end up making it through the puzzle, and we get to a door, a giant door. I'm pretty sure that's how the episode ended off. We didn't get through the door.
No, you did go into the door.
Okay.
You ended with going downstairs, but that's where we stopped.
Correct.
Okay, so we have much more stairs to go. Giant steps. So yeah.
Which that episode is currently out on the Patreon feed, but it will release publicly Monday.
Monday.
Dope.
But yeah, really like these two episodes. Bucky, I really enjoy your puzzle mind coming up with these riddles for us to figure out.
So yeah, that was kind of the big draw for this whole thing. Was I ended up having a conversation with everybody after what happened in Nightstone, and now that we were finally departing away from that kind of initial intro area where there was a lot of fighting, a lot of like figuring things out, and a lot of combat situations that had to be dealt with. I ended up having a chat with everybody and was kind of like, hey, what do we want to see more of in this game? Because I firmly believe in having an open line of communication between players and DM, or players with each other, anything like along those lines. So it was kind of important for me to check in with everybody to be like, hey, what does everybody want to see more of in this game? What's more fun for everybody to do right now? And pretty much unanimously, everybody was like, puzzles.
Puzzles.
In this context is a double-edged sword, because yes, puzzles are fun and they're really cool to do. However, in a podcast scenario with puzzles, it's hard to like make a puzzle that has no visual aspect to it and can be solved only with words, and also being able to not have the constant silence and thinking and, but what about this? But what about this? But what about this?
Riddles.
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, how did everybody feel about this? Is it kind of a big departure from Nightstone? And I felt like it was kind of important for everybody to have that moment of like, hey, no combat. What are we doing here?
Personally, I loved it because I was one of the forefront puzzle champions. I wanted it. I'm really sorry. Also, guys, I made an apple cider syrup earlier today, and like the biggest dumb moron in the world, like licked a spoonful of it while it was still boiling hot. So I burned the bejesus out of my tongue. So I've got an ice cube here. I'm really sorry if it's just like, let's just watch Morgan lick an ice cube for no good reason. But I just burned my tongue and it really hurts.
I mean, fair, not the weirdest thing that's happened. I did chug honey on live stream in LA, so
that's
true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was sick as hell.
So what I will say is that it was exciting for me because we had just done an ungodly amount of combat previous to this, and it was like combat. It was the bang bang of combats of D&D, and I was really tired of it. So I was very excited to get to work together as a team to do something that was not combat related. So very excited on my front. And I was really happy that Bucky put so much thought and effort into it.
For sure. I mean, I thought it was in the book, you know, I mean, with all the details that Bucky was just spurting out to us with all like the histories of the individual giants and all that stuff. I was like, oh, damn. All right. He must've done his research, but no, he, top of the dome. Well, not top of the dome.
Well, yeah, I came up with a lot of it just in thinking about what to do and like how to make something more interesting. And it was more along the lines of going through the book. And I've read the entire book from cover to cover. So I'm very familiar. Well, maybe not cover to cover. There's a lot I skipped because it's not important. But like
sick burn.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, it was a lot of like, hey, there's a big chunk of this book that's actually pretty important, but if you don't go to the right places or do the right things, you never know about it. You never learn about any of these things. So it's like there's like no forefront in actually learning about giant lore. Like there's no like, hey, here's a lore dump about who giants are and what they are. So like the entire context for the game doesn't make much sense unless you know a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to sculpt a thing for you guys to go through that made sense story-wise and gave you guys vital information that you were going to be using and have that for the entire rest of the game. So it wasn't a constant like you get to a certain point and it's like, why are we doing this? What is the purpose of this? Who are these people? What's going on?
Yeah. I appreciated getting all of that extra added context and like story development and like insight into the culture that we were dealing with. So I really appreciated it.
And also that's going to get even more in depth in the next upcoming episodes. Because you'll see. It just there's a lot.
This first level was really meant to be more of a introduction into like what the look of giants are, like introducing the idea that there are different types of giants, because obviously I know that Drew and Josh are very they know a lot, well maybe not a lot, but they know about giants and they know that there are varying types, but not everybody knows that. So like introducing that aspect of like, hey, like giants are very much like people, just large, and there's also like very much, it's not really like races, but there are different kind of races in giant lore of like different types. So introducing that idea of like, hey, not every single giant is exactly the same.
Yeah, they're actually incredibly different.
Vastly different, yes. And there are also always exceptions to every single rule.
Yeah. To double on what you said before, John, the issue with it was not playing the game. The issue with it was editing it. Because we had to listen to ourselves not get the answer to something. It's very similar to like back when I was playing Braid around when that came out, and also John when we were doing our YouTube series and we were doing Portal, and then we were editing those Portal videos. It was very difficult to watch us try to get the solution we already knew at the time,
right?
Because we're like, it's right there. You guys are you're just idiots, all of you. Myself, everybody. So that was
know that at the time.
Yeah, exactly. But in retrospect, we're like, how did we miss that? Oh, it was right there. It's very hard to do that. So we can't listen to those episodes unbiased. It would just have to be the audience listening because they don't know the solutions yet. That would have the best reaction.
Right.
That was the only weird part. But I enjoyed the puzzles. I always enjoy puzzles. Those are always good.
Puzzles are fun. I ended up having to go kind of so since I was making the puzzles for you guys, and Josh is usually my typical go-to of, hey, can you check this and make sure it's fair? I didn't have Josh for that. So I ended up actually reaching out to my girlfriend, and she was like, I ended up like running this pre-made dungeon for her in a way. I kind of like just did the puzzles and ran it past her to see if she could solve it. And I kind of judged based off of that. Is this hard enough? Is this too difficult? Is this easy? Like, what's the deal here? And just having that, like, to be able to bounce those ideas off of her and judge from that, I was like, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world, not the most difficult thing in the world, but it's not blatantly easy. And funny enough, you guys ended up as a group. I think it was funny with the group mentality of everybody pointing towards different things and everybody having different ideas kind of confused and obscured the overall effort of solving the puzzle, as opposed to one person just going, that one. Well,
because as Polish just said, oh, sorry, Nick. Polish just said, in typical D&D player fashion, they overanalyzed the puzzles and got hurt, almost killing an innocent animal.
Let's be fair. Everyone overanalyzes the puzzles because everyone's like, they have so much more information than I do. They're going to make the puzzle hard.
Right.
And
you
could do that, but you could also just be like, say the word friend, idiot.
I'm also really well known for like overthinking shit. So it's like, I was paralyzed. I was like, oh wait, no.
You were saying, Nick? Sorry.
Well, especially because you also added the element that if we got the answer wrong, we got punished for it. We got injured in some way. So it actually like, it feeds into our disagreements, I guess, a little bit more when like I think one answer and Josh or Morgan thinks another answer, and yet if either one is wrong, we're gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? We're gonna get screwed over for this. So people really stick by their decisions, and we're trying to explain to each other why we think one thing versus the other. I really enjoyed us like trying to figure this all out together. It's just like when you're right, when you're alone, it's just one person making a choice to do something. But when you have 5 people trying to figure it out, it's like, oh gosh.
And I also actually raised this because I was thinking a lot about these puzzles, and I didn't want them to be too blatantly obvious from the get-go. I remember a conversation that I believe I had with Drew a long time ago, back when we worked together, and it was the idea of making puzzles and the idea of basically like all off towards the side having a piece of paper that has the answer in it. It's a very, very typical video game thing where it's just like, oh, I have this puzzle I have to solve, and then like right off towards the side to the right is a piece of paper that describes, oh, this is all the stuff you need to do to solve the puzzle. Who would normally ever have that there? Like someone who like is here is just like, oh, I know the answer to this thing to get to the room, boop, 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 and now I'm in the room. So like, I think a really good example that I was actually, Josh brought it up. I can't remember the actual person playing the game, but it was a game where there was a puzzle in it that was like a base 4 math problem that they had to solve.
Oh, that was Sean Plott,
like
Day 9's channel.
Yeah. And he like ended up solving the whole thing, doing the mathematics in his head, and then off towards the side was a piece of paper that explained how to do base 4 math. And he was like, oh.
Yeah, they did that on the Mostly Walking series on Day 9's channel. I forget the name of the game, but yeah, that was incredibly interesting to watch. And then especially them going, oh, okay, it's right here.
Right. So like for you guys who don't like are being introduced to this tomb, everything's new. You got to kind of figure things out for yourself. But for someone who walks into this place, they would just be like, this one, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I'm moving on. So I wanted to make it so that it was an interesting enough puzzle where the answer wasn't blatantly in your face, and you couldn't just be like, hey, here's a piece of paper that describes what you're supposed to do.
Yes, but I want the piece of paper that tells me what to do.
Well, Zell always wants the piece of paper.
That's kind of what this whole deal is.
Is that a piece of paper? I want it.
I want that thing.
But yeah, you did do a really good job of like incorporating the lore into the puzzle as well. So you're not just info dumping or like having somebody tell us all this about Giant Kind. It's like, oh, you are learning it while actually focused on getting to the next room. So it's you're killing 2 birds with one stone.
It's a lot more fun in game, and I feel like it's more memorable that way. Instead of it just being like, hey, here's a list of information that you should know about later on, having it be more of a thing that you did and making it an experience rather than just like read this piece of paper. It keeps things in your head a lot longer, and you can, when something else happens later on where you're just like, oh, I remember that moment because this thing happened and I solved that puzzle and this was important about that moment. It's more interesting that way than it is just being like, lore dump, here you go.
Info dump with purpose.
Yep.
Yeah. I did have a question for you, John. I'm trying to get it back.
Puzzles?
Yeah, something to do with puzzles. I'll have to come back to it.
Okay.
The Crag Cats, if I remember correctly, were those not from the Monster Manual?
Those are in, I believe it's Volo's Guide.
Okay. I didn't know if it was at a Creature Codex.
No, it was a Volo's Guide. I think it's in the Volo's Guide. And yeah, those specific Crag Cats, I was ended up talking to Max at work about this. He was curious about those Crag Cats and was like, were they just there? And I was like, no, with the sound of the door opening and all of the as it was moving, the Crag Cats were in the area that just got alerted and then began to stealthily move their way within all the commotion towards you guys. So it wasn't like this is a generic encounter. It was more so a like, hey, this is like something that seems natural, like a bunch of Crag Cats are native to the north.
Yeah.
They would be in the area and the sound would alert them to something. And Crag Cats are very vicious cats that would literally eat any type of meat in front of them. So it would make sense for them to be there, and I wanted that encounter, at least have something there that would be a quick, easy encounter to realize like, hey, there's actually life up here. It's not just a dead tomb.
Well, when you're coming up with stuff off like on your own homebrew parts of the story, how do you go through the process of deciding like what creatures we come across, or if we are going into like a forced combat situation, what we are facing? Do you just go through the book and be like, I like this. We haven't seen a Cragcat before.
Well, I've flipped through a lot of books before. I flipped through a lot of monster manuals, like the Creature Codex, and like I flipped through the Monster Manual. I flipped through Volo's Guide and all these other books, and a lot of the images of things. Like I remember, I have loose like things in my head of like, oh, this is a monster I could use for this area. This is a monster I could use for this area. Another helpful thing is there are a lot of within the books and online, even there's a lot of resources online where you can look up and be like, hey, I need encounters for a specific type of environment. Like you can be like Arctic environment or forest environment, and it'll be a list of like level 1, 2, 3, 4 of like, these are monsters that you can encounter at this level. These are monsters that you can encounter at this level. And I kind of just flipped through a lot of those things, and I ultimately decided, hey, this would make sense to be in this moment, or this is what I'm kind of going for. But with this specific place, I just kind of came up with a general concept of what I wanted the whole tomb to be, and then kind of filled in details as I went through and saying, nice. I want this thing. I want this thing.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry, John. Did you mention the encounter builder in that spiel at all?
No, I did not.
So
I haven't used the encounter builder.
One, I would highly recommend it. If you're making homebrew stuff, I've been using it for some home game stuff, here and there whenever I'm doing something on the fly, especially like creating something in a very short period of time. On D&D Beyond, the encounter builder allows you to go through whatever books you have as source books, build the encounter, tell it how many players at what level, and it'll tell you the difficulty of it. So you can balance your encounters directly in there and then pull up all the monster stats through that. So cool. If you have D&D Beyond, if you have access to it, or you want something to... This is not an ad. This is me just telling you I enjoy using it. I highly recommend it. It certainly helps. And you can refine it to certain levels or challenge ratings or whatever. So it's great.
Yeah. And then the other bit of information that really was discovered was that Jeff is the Storm King.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's a thing now. That's out in the world. That's been an inside joke with us for a very long time.
Yeah. Thus Hannah's little hashtag down there.
Is it an inside joke if it's definitely the truth?
Knows.
To quote Morgan's usual thing, porque no los dos.
Porque no los dos. Yep.
It's true. Yeah, I think that was the first time.
I feel like I should take offense at that.
Was that the first time in game we called Jeff the Storm King? Because we saw this.
Yep.
Because it was all smoky.
Because it was the first instance of realizing that something was up with Jeff that you didn't necessarily know before.
What's up with Jeff?
What's up with Jeff? That's going to be our new show over on twitch.com.
No, we're going to move it to what's the other streaming service that people are...
Mixer,
yeah. It's a Mixer.
It's hard to kind of continue on to the thought process of these puzzles without the rest of the puzzles being out. It's just kind of like taking it as a whole.
Yeah.
There's more. Don't worry.
As a whole, it made a lot more sense. You did see a lot more of that. Like, oh, okay, I see how like all of these pieces fit together in like this like design of the place.
Yeah. But really, the aspect was mostly like having those statues there and really having that last moment before you guys left to like say, hey, these are kind of the things that each type of giant values more than the other, to really drive home that idea that like these are very different entities, regardless of the fact that they all look very similar. There's differences about them that are very important to what's happening later on.
And they aren't just monsters. They are members of a civilization.
Yeah.
So...
They're just a very large civilization.
Yes.
Massive civilization.
Without getting into the rest of the puzzles, was there any puzzle ideas that you had for this place that you thought of and then retracted?
Honestly, no, because this puzzle and one that's to come were kind of the first ones that really came into my head. This one, I initially started with the idea of like how I said before, I wanted that first introduction to a puzzle to be something kind of a quick and simple, easy puzzle that you guys could like dip into, learn a little bit about some stuff, and then move on to the next thing. And that was kind of the first idea I went with, was a something that I could describe easily and be able to be like, oh, here's your puzzle, here's a prompt, what's the item you need? Very quick and simple, like, here's your prompt, what is the thing you need for it? I'll get into the next puzzle in the next episode when we get to that. But yeah, this one was kind of the first one that came. Actually, no, I lied. I did it in reverse order because I did the puzzle that's coming up first and then did this one in second. But yeah, I didn't really have any scrapped puzzle ideas that I came up with because I felt like these were kind of the ones that were important to what you needed to know about the lore of what was going on. I kind of thought of what is the things that I want you guys to take away from this puzzle lore-wise, and then how could I incorporate that into a puzzle that's doable and memorable.
Yeah, makes sense. Otherwise, without this puzzle, was there another area that you took away from Bryn Shander to make room for this?
So actually what it was supposed to happen, I ended up cutting a bunch of stuff out, and it was the idea that Zephyros as a character is supposed to show up at Nightstone and essentially be like, hey, I'm here, I'm your friend, and I want to help you go to the next area. But given this was their first Nightstone was their first introduction to giants, and it was attacked by cloud giants. Having a cloud giant show up at Nightstone immediately after they were attacked by cloud giants, the party would immediately be like, "Oh hell no!" and just walk the heck on away.
Not just the party, Morgan would not let us get into that situation.
Right.
Like, we are not staying.
Like, regardless of the fact that Barty knew this cloud giant, everyone would instinctually be like, oh, hell no, we're not dealing with this. So what was supposed to happen there is, I actually don't really necessarily like how this is handled in the book, which is why I changed it. But essentially, you're supposed to go with Zephyros into his tower, and he flies you to where you're supposed to go next, and you have a choice of 3 different places you can go. I read all 3 places. Bryn Shander is the best one. So I decided, hey, we're going Bryn Shander because it's the coolest. And also because Icewind Dale. So you're supposed to go along with him, and then he'll take you to the next location that the game is going to take place. And then within that time span of getting from one to the next, you have 1 or 2 encounters that are supposed to happen within the tower, with one involving, funny enough, a bunch of cultists, which is the exact same cult as the air cult from the game we played, Josh.
Yeah.
The Princes of the Apocalypse. And the other encounter is a encounter with the Lord's Alliance, where there's a group of them alongside a silver dragon that flies up and notices the tower and essentially attacks it, trying to attack Zephyros. And you kind of have to try and intervene and be like, hey, what? No, stop. So those 2 encounters are meant to happen along the way, and that's supposed to give you your level up. However, it just seems like it's more combat and more kind of useless information being thrown at you with no purpose. Like after you would have completed it and got to where you were going, those moments would have been completely forgotten. You would have been like, oh, that was a thing that happened. Moving on. Nothing important was learned from that. So instead, I wanted to go with something that actually meant something and would be memorable for you guys. So that's why I came up with the idea of being like, hey, go to Bryn Shander first. You guys get there. You met Zephyros along the way, which is kind of handled as like a quick little like, hey, you made it from this place to this place. And then created this so that it was more of a, this is shit that you'll need to know.
As a addendum to that, the game that John is talking about was on the Nerd Immersion channel with Ted DMing, and we did Princes of the Apocalypse with John's character Ozzy and my character of Scratching Post. Yeah, so it was a great game. It was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Polish also informed us that this season will feature provocative Mortimer fan art, and that's his goal. I'm cautiously excited.
I'm not cautiously excited. I'm very excited.
I'm with Nick.
Yep. We want all the Mortimer fan art, all that risque fan art.
All because of one comment, your shelf butt.
Yeah, your comment.
That shelf butt.
Actually, it started from me saying that you touched my ass.
Touched my ass.
Yeah. Did you touch my ass? It's okay if you did. So we don't have any questions for this episode, but Polish and whoever else is in the chat, if you would like to give us questions for this episode and such, feel free to let us know. Questions we can answer.
Yes.
I say on multiple levels.
Important.
Please give us questions.
But otherwise, I know, Nick, last time you were happy with bringing some perception check concepts into the episode. Is there anything you wanted to cover on that front? And is there anything else anyone wants to talk about with these last 2 episodes?
Happy?
Yeah, I'm really happy with these last 2 episodes. I mean, we really get like us socializing in the bars, and then you get, us trying to figure out how to get into this cave. You get a little bit of action, then you get a puzzle. It's like these 2 episodes are just filled with everything that you possibly could want.
I've been slowly learning, because this is really a learning experience for me as well, going off of the book, of like trying to find that balance where one thing is not too prevalent, and like try and have that balance of like, hey, when's a good time for RP, when's a good time for some puzzles, when's a good time for combat, like interweaving that to make it a more natural thing rather than it being like, oh, we just got more combat again and here's some more combat. And this game is very much built around that idea, so taking the story that's already written and kind of transforming that is very important to me, and has been a very, very interesting learning experience.
Yay, learning.
Yay. Learning is great. Learning is good, and everyone should learn more.
I have a non-D&D related thing we can discuss, which is a random question, but what was everybody's, in lieu of the Game Awards that happened, I think it was 2 days ago, what was everybody's personal game of the year?
That came out this year, or that we played
that
this
came
year?
out this, or yeah, I guess either, whatever. What was important for you, personal, what you played this year that you really enjoyed?
I think I have 2. I really enjoyed playing through God of War, the newest one.
God of War was very good.
Because it was on sale for the PlayStation Hits, and I played the shit out of it.
Yeah, that was very good.
And I normally don't like a lot of the just action games, because I don't tend to have an engaging story, but this did. And that's what really kept me. The father-son relationship was wonderful. It was gorgeous. And you really felt the scale of the game. That, and also I finally played through Pillars of Eternity 1, and I demolished it. I couldn't put it down. I think I did over 40 hours in 2 weeks of just grinding through. So yeah, those 2 games were great. Pillars is wonderful for many, many reasons. Mechanics-wise, it's great. It brings back what... I built Baldur's Gate 2 is what got me into gaming got me into D&D to begin with. So this plays off of that model of game. The story's great. The NPCs are wonderful. Your companions are great. Combat is a lot of tactics, which I really enjoy. And something very rare in RPGs these days is the main story actually kept me engaged. I haven't found that to be the case. I played Skyrim for many, many hours. The main quest can blow itself. I hate it. So this actually kept me interested, and I was very invested in whatever decisions I made. So those 2.
Nick, you got any?
I have not been able to stop playing Jedi Fallen Order. It's like I'm really into it right now.
I heard it's good.
And I'm playing it right now on Xbox, and the graphics are a little bit not the best. But otherwise, I've always just wanted to be a Jedi. So like, I'm just having the best time just running around and finding everything I possibly can and killing everything I possibly can. And it's really, really cool.
From what I heard about Jedi Fallen Order, I've heard that it's plays it safe story-wise and like gameplay-wise, but is ultimately a very fun and interesting game. So ultimately, play it safe. If you make a good game, I'm going to play it.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick, you may be a little younger for these games, but did you play like Dark Forces and Mysteries of the Sith and all that when those came out? Oh,
nope.
Okay.
Nope. I haven't played. The only Star Wars games that I played KOTOR on my phone for a while because like it was available as an app, but I never finished it. And other than that, it's just been Battlefront, like Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay.
That's
I answered it in the chat, but Polish Ogre asked, "What are the thoughts on the new trailer for D&D game?"
I was very happy about the fact that they were making a new Dark Alliance, but that trailer made me want to vomit.
Same.
Yeah.
I never played Dark Alliance. I have no feelings for Dark Alliance, but I watched 3 seconds of that trailer and went, I will never touch this.
So what I will say is Dark Alliance is basically Gauntlet Legends with D&D.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
Wait, it's what?
it's fun. It's Gauntlet Legends. You ever play Gauntlet Legends? No.
It's Diablo-esque in that way.
Like hack and slash style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The way the trailer was just a very cinematic, quote unquote, representation. The last 3 seconds were some actual gameplay looking things.
Yeah.
The first 2 John and I have played since we basically knew each other.
Yeah. We still got to play the second one again
Yeah.
because I have it sitting in our living room.
As too much motion for a camera.
Yes.
Yes.
As
Very much.
an editor, yes.
People that work in film industry, yes.
The amount of stabilizes I have to put on shots because people wanted to be really edgy with their movement is obscene.
I would say I don't know any of this. I didn't watch it. But going back to the original thing of I would say my game of the year was the Untitled Goose Game.
Yes, thank you guys for introducing me to that because I've enjoyed it a lot.
It's so much fun.
And then games this year, it was like a refurb, but Link's Awakening on the Switch is the only Zelda game to date that I have finished. And I thought it was very cute and adorable, and I liked it a lot. I am also playing Dragon Age 3 for like the 5th time, which is a great game. It has a lot of critical flaws, I feel like, Dragon Age 3, but I still love it. And it's one of those things where I've been playing it for like 3 weeks now. And each time Josh sees me start playing it again, he's like, still?
It's
This
so
game is
long.
so long. Like, yeah,
It was.
it is.
It was also one of the reasons I picked up Pillars. There's multiple reasons. I've been looking into like game development stuff, and isometric RPGs have always been interesting to me. So I wanted to play it and learn. But another reason is because Morgan started playing Dragon Age Inquisition, which means my PlayStation is gone. So I started hopping into PC games again and just adapt. And I don't mind where I play things. So PC worked for me.
Yeah. I'm like 80 hours in, and I have just gotten to start exploring the Hissing Waste, if that tells you anything for people who've played that game. The Hissing Waste is fucking enormous, and it takes forever to get through.
My game for this year was probably Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yeah, I was interested in that. I take it was good since you're putting it as game of the year. But what
It's the
drew
game I
you
played
about it?
most consistently through the year. It's Minecraft, but if Minecraft had dumb little reward mechanics built into it,
Okay.
like you get a village and they want stuff, like everyone wants a bedroom and that kind of thing. So you build a bedroom and it makes them happy, and you build like a restaurant and toilets and things. Like the more stuff you add, the happier they are. So you get like these dumb little reward mechanics for doing things for the people that exist in the world.
Yeah, that makes me think of a game.
It's the fun of Minecraft, but you get like that feedback
Gotcha.
from the game itself.
What was that game that I borrowed from you, John? Dark Cloud, was it?
Dark Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of that a little bit.
That's more of the go through the dungeon and then get all the parts of the town that was destroyed and then go back to the town and rebrbuild it.
Make everyone
Dark
happy.
Cloud is great. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
But
And then in the second one, you could play golf.
that's true. That's the game I played most consistently, which is why it's ranked up there. Because I played Outer Worlds and that was a lot of fun. And
That was fun.
I've played a lot of games that came out recently, but I've picked that game up the most.
What about you, John?
My game of the year is definitely Control.
Control? I was actually, I heard
I
about that.
loved that game so much. It was such a visually stunning game. My personal thoughts about it was when it first came out, I feel like they probably should have waited a little longer to finally release it because there was definitely some graphical issues and some bugs and some weird things that could have used some polish. So I feel like if they would have waited maybe 2 months or so before they finally put it out and just cleaned it up a little bit, it would have been a lot better. But since I've played it, I've heard that it's actually been fixed a lot in a lot of places. So I actually want to go back and play it again. But that game to me was like if David Lynch and the SCP Foundation got together and fucked and then birthed a horribly fucked up child into the world. That was that game. And the story was enthralling. The game itself was gorgeous. The upgrade mechanics were really cool and interesting. How you incorporated and used your gun. it was just like a very interesting game to learn about and learn about what was actually happening. And it actually pulls in a lot from real life and mythology in general, where like the weapon you get in the game is known as the director's weapon, and the director has taken on multiple forms, which has like changed throughout years. And like they've referenced things to like, oh, at one point Thor was the wielder of the weapon and the weapon was Mjolnir and took on that form, and it's changed over years from person to person. And it was just absolutely a stunningly gorgeous game, and I loved every second of it.
And the physics are insane.
Oh my god, it has easily the best like telekinesis like physics I've ever seen in a video game. Yeah, it was great. I recommend it. Highly
Guys,
recommend it.
I love you all. I'm going to bounce out of this because my mouth really hurts and I have to keep eating ice and not talk.
Okay.
Okay, please do not kill your video. Just
make it black.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Don't-
put a
Just
sock
scooch.
over it.
there you go.
Just scooch.
And I love you all, and you're all beautiful, and you're the best.
Go fix your tongue. Bye bye.
So Polish asks us, what was your favorite non-TI RPG side game of the year, including home games not broadcast? Mine is easily bringing my kid into a home game with Bucky and Morgan, where he's playing Moblin the Goblin, and I'm giving him his first mini of his character for Christmas. I used Hero
So
Forge
exciting.
to make Moblin the Goblin. So that's it so far, and having him learn consequences of running away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Important.
And practicing combat with Gavin and my mom. So I got my mom to actually play some D&D stuff for the first time ever, which I never thought would happen, but all it took was her grandson,
Yeah.
not her son.
Nice.
No. Listen to the grandson. For me, it was probably when we got to play. What was the name? Dragon Heist. Waterdeep Dragon Heist with the Wolf 359 crew.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and I got to play a character by the name of what the heck was his name? Juan Mijote. I made a halfling by the name of Juan Mijote, which was a swashbuckling halfling rogue, and it was so much fun to play that guy. He was very, my name is Juan Mijote. And challenged the goblin to a duel. They had this like Errol Flynn style combat in the middle of a game. It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah, the Kenku and you going, Ungard. Yeah, I thought that would be that for you or the Epic game you played in LA.
That was fun too, but that I was actually terrified for. I felt more terrified and scared there because there was so much pressure. Being able to just like sit at home with some friends and play a game was a lot more relaxing, and I was able to like free up myself a little bit. I wasn't putting on a show for anybody, so it was more fun.
Nick?
I think it was much earlier in the year, but I actually ran a game for my fiance Jess and my sister Christine, who have never played D&D before, and they have to hear me talk about it all the time. So it was really, really awesome just be able to like explain to them and show them why I love this game so much, and really see them get into it and really fill out their characters and try to figure out, how to really navigate this world. It also showed me that I probably could DM if I took the time and effort to learn a story.
Anybody can DM.
It kind of gave me a little bit more confidence in that, which is cool.
You've been DMing at work, though, right?
Well, that's been like little last minute pickup games where I just happen to have the module in my bag and they're like, hey, we got nothing to do for the next 30 minutes. So that's that. Having played with like people that have no idea what D&D is, like my sister and my fiance, and then also doing it again and with a different group of people, really have been like, okay, like different people come to the table with different experiences and different choices. You gotta roll with it. Whatever you had planned for one might not work for the others, and they might do something completely different. So it's a learning experience for sure, which is really cool.
No.
Drew?
I've been trying to think of
All of your massive amounts of games you've played this year.
And I think I'm gonna have to go with. I'm not gonna. I mean, this is gonna sound like I'm playing to the audience here, but I'll have to go with the Corpses and Curios, Capers, Masks crossover that Ogre ran, where our heroes from the past met our heroes from the future, and it was a mess of a game. It was a lot of fun because I always like playing Edgelord quite a bit, and
You've never played that character.
okay. There's a difference between playing an Edgelord and playing Edgelord. I always like playing Edgelord because he's a happy-go-lucky kid who is just really good with swords.
I do have to say though, one of the games that I've heard about with you in it, Drew, was Max's Unknown Armies game that he was running for. I've been regularly hearing updates from him because I work with the DM of that game, and he kept giving me updates of what he was planning, and that game dissolved into such a massive mess.
It was
where
great.
like they went to a casino where they would gamble things other than money, like their soul and their powers and shit. I was like, that's dope. I want to be there.
It was great. The best part was I only won 2 hands in those magical poker games. One, my character lost all of his aches, pains, and scars. So that was cool. And I say one, I lost that one, but I technically won that one.
Yeah, you gave that one. You're like, oh, I feel good now.
But the other one I won was I won someone's drinking magic, and I stole it from them.
Oh yeah, you could drink alcohol, and the drunker you get, the more powerful your magic is.
And that was
That's cool.
And then immediately turned around, and I think the next session I got shot 9 times. I almost died. So
Damn.
I mean, sometimes you get drinking powers, sometimes you get shot 9 times. What are you gonna do?
I got down to 2 hit points in that game, and it's very unforgiving. It takes a long time to heal. It was bad. Fun game though.
That's cool. Very, very cool.
And Liz Fantastic. I don't know what to call her in this case. Fav. Yes, there we go. She mentioned Crash Pandas. That is a great game. If you have not played it, you should play Crash Pandas. Fav played a character with a Brooklyn accent trying to get her boyfriend out of jail.
Oh hell yeah.
And it was very frustrating to hear this accent the whole time. Oh, and also Ogre said lost those things we gained a crippling opioid addiction, and he's not wrong because my character did get addicted to heroin towards the end of the game.
Damn.
You hate to see it happen.
He was a drunk and addicted to heroin right towards the end.
Not doing good.
Not doing well, yeah.
Or doing great. It really depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
He had a lot of magic power.
I was introduced to Crash Pandas because Critical Role did a game of it. So if you are a fan of Critical Role and want to see what Crash Pandas is about, I highly recommend checking out that episode. It's great. And really Sam DMs it.
Super easy game.
Yeah. And if Sam's DMing, you know it's
magical.
Yeah.
In ours, in the one I ran with Fav, the racetrack, instead of being the streets of LA, was inside of a quantum cube, so it was just Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you just go wild.
Very nice. All right. Well, we have like 10 minutes or so. Do we have any other questions from either here or chat that we can dive into?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a would you rather.
Okay. Oh, this is like a Drew question.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So, would you rather be able to run as fast as Zell or fly like Barty, but only at a max speed of 3 miles an hour? So, like,
just slowly moving.
Let's see. That means what? 1 mile.
you have full capability of flight. Like, you can go as high.
Minutes. So, I mean, that's a little bit faster than normal walking speed.
Yeah.
3 miles an hour. Because typical walking speed is about 2 miles an hour. 2 point something.
Okay, so then let's slow it down a little bit. Let's do a little bit slower than
1 mile an hour?
Yeah, 1 mile an hour.
So like, oh wait, never mind. We didn't get to that part of the game yet. As much as I would love flying, going that fast, I think would be very cool.
Yeah. I still go with flight. I think flight's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to agree with flight because even though like running that fast would be really, really cool, I'd being able to fly completely removes that barrier of like having to swerve around things. You just get up in the air and go straight to where you want to go. But also being able to get that high and see the world from that view just is from only being on planes maybe twice in my life, I freaking love that view. I love being high in the sky and looking down and being like, this is beautiful.
Well,
So
I have a question
that.
for you though, Nick. Flying how?
What do you mean?
With wings, or are you just Dragon Ball Z
Oh, no,
flying
no,
in the slowest
no.
way possible?
Dragon Ball Z flying in the slowest way possible.
Oh,
So you're like, go.
And it doesn't sound like you're a jet taking off. It just sounds like a little like
No, it just sounds like a constant.
yeah.
yes. You can only yeah. You
Just a
fart.
constant.
That's
You crop dust the entire way.
Oh Lord. I'm gonna go with Zell.
This is what happens when all the girls
run
go
as
away.
Do you think
You know how
Zell
much
could?
stuff I could get done?
Do you think Zell could run on water? How fast do you have to be to run on water?
Level.
Just imagine Zell zipping past the water and skipping his own body against the lake. Like,
It's actually okay.
He just.
I mean,
dives
there's
in.
the lizards that run on water. They don't run that fast.
Can you count that running? They like this.
oh yeah.
It's still
Little Jesus
running.
lizards. I love those little guys.
But no, I mean, I could get to work super fast. I could get things done really fast. It'd be great. I got
Also,
shit to do.
Polish brings up a good point. If you can fly, then you can poop on people's cars that you don't like.
I
That's
don't
true.
want to poop on people's cars. Okay, I ain't got that interest.
And also, monks can run on water at a certain level. So
Yes,
that
they
is
can.
Something.
Well, I also have a thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, you do have that.
Yeah, well, I got that in Bryn Shander. I think before we actually left.
Claws. You got claws.
Claws
Yeah,
are great.
curiosity.
Yeah, he picked up some curiosity at the shop.
Yeah.
I don't know
Was
if
it
the
called
item you
Corpses
got
and
came up
Curios?
yet. Did it?
Got it before we left Bryn Shander. Maybe we got it afterwards. Well,
But I'm going to change to fly as well, because if it's not like gigantic wings, I'm beating around New York City and I can
Yeah.
just kind of float there. Sure.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to change your answer?
no, I want to run fast. As
All the cool kids are picking flying.
I don't know. I think I'm.
It's like Nick's just like,
I
you're
could
gonna do
go
it.
that fast-
Granted, boom, you're flying now.
Everyone's
If I could
flying
run
1 mile
fast,
an hour.
I could poop on anything I wanted to. People are catching me.
Good point. Very good point. Damn,
That's
I like
fair.
your defense.
That's fair. I like this poop on things defense. It's good.
If that's the defense we're going with, I could poop on anything. Nobody could stop me.
Oh my god, this is reminding me of a Game Grumps bit where they were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and how he could just literally take a deuce and then just take off like no one will catch me.
Not to mention, in if this were running as fast as L, I could get into any building I wanted to. Literally just
That's fair. Just run up the building.
that, or just literally run, throw a heavy object at it. Guess what? Velocity's going to take over that.
Oh my god, that's a great would you
Good
rather. That
point.
just so Luke on the chat just said, would you guys rather shit without it smelling or earn $10 an hour just for being alive?
$10 an hour. Done.
$10 an hour done.
$10 an hour? Oh my god, that's $240 a day. Yeah, wait,
$10 an hour.
what was the other
being
option?
alive. Thank you.
Being able to poop without it smelling.
You know what? I
Yeah,
can
that's
have
other
the
people's
smelliest
problems.
Poop. I have the smelliest poop in the world. $10 an hour. Alive every day, all day, every day. I would just install a very powerful exhaust fan in the bathroom.
Okay, but here's all right. How about this way? You be able to poop without it smelling, or get paid $10 an hour to have to go into rooms where other people just pooped and smell it for an hour. For that hour, you get paid $10 for sitting in a room filled with poop for an hour.
Ooh, okay, all right.
That's less than minimum wage. So no.
Wait, did you say sitting in a room with poop? Or, is it just,
Or where people poop, it still smells.
okay, that's just called being in a bathroom.
Yes, you have to sit in the bathroom, but for an hour.
This
Oh
is
my
what
God.
happens when Morgan and Hannah.
I was just about to say.
For an hour because there's nothing to do in there. That's boring. Can I
This
bring
show
stuff
just
into the
devolves.
bathroom with me?
Yeah, probably. You have your phone on you. Just Reddit it the whole time.
Just, whatever.
What's another question we can bring up that has like lightning quick answers because we have 3 minutes left?
Would you rather poop? No.
No, get that shit out of here. Hey, baby.
What do you think is the most well-rounded animal to have as a companion in D&D?
That's a good one.
That is very good. Companion, as in to fight with you with a ranger, or just like a pet, like useless.
Just like a friend. to have.
I guess like just like a friend to have, like useless. Because like a ranger, you got special stuff with it.
Personally,
I'd go with,
I
like-
actually have been thinking about this for a little while, and it has to do with a character that I want to play after this game, and I always want like the idea of having some type of lizard as a pet,
A lizard?
like a lizard or a gecko or something like that, because they seem like super cool. Kinda
Lizards
chill.
are great
Just
pets.
yeah.
I
But if it was an iguana, that shit would fucking like, and like fucking
Well,
flip
yeah.
through everything and freak out. That'd be great.
They are very fast. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm partial to birds right now,
I wonder why.
but yeah. You know what? I'll stick with a bird. I'll stick with a bird companion. Some sort
Yeah.
of a.
Birds are helpful.
Pseudo Dragon is pretty high on that list.
Oh, we lost Josh.
No, I'm still
Pseudo
here.
dragon.
Oh, we lost the stream
Oh.
too.
Did we go down?
Yep. Stream
Oh
went
no.
down, Josh.
Why am I still up?
I don't know.
I still
Oh, it
hear
may
you
have
guys
switched
too.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Okay, there we go. We're back.
Ah!
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Okay, we're back. Weird.
So we'll make this very quickly. It said internet was unstable.
Yeah.
So very
okay.
quickly, I'm going with Pseudo Dragon, but as of like a real animal, I would probably end up going with like an owl or something.
Owls are cool.
Clarifying question: can it be any animal that's ever been alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
fantasy,
definitely
why not?
whatever the hell that wolf thing was, that's head was 24 inches long. The rest of that thing would be awesome.
Oh, I want to change my answer to a pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're going with anything that's lived.
It's also a mount, really.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Show over.
All right.
Well done.
Let's go around. Let's say who we were, and then I'll give our Taking Initiative information and current giveaway details. So, Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Bucky, or as Josh said, Jonathan.
It's the first time I've ever called you Jonathan.
Yeah. You can't find me on the internet, but you can find me on the Taking Initiative podcast. And also, I will say, given the episodes that have come out, I am planning at some point to release this one shot that I made as a thing that they're on DM's Guild or just for people to have to use for themselves. Once it's all done and I actually get it made and looking good. So keep an eye out for that. Once I can actually get to working on that, I'll give updates of when that's going to come out.
Nick.
I have been Nick. I play Barty McFly. Social medias at Nico Figs and IKOFIGS. You could find me on this podcast. We got a lot of great episodes coming up, so make sure to download and subscribe.
Drew.
I'm Drew Tillman, and you can find me on Twitter at cyber_Sasquatch. You can actually find me most places at cyber_Sasquatch. And I am there. Sorry, the dog is distracting me.
Oh, dog.
Cute dog.
But yes, find me there. Bye.
Because Morgan and Hannah are not here, you can find Morgan on Twitter at ThistleRaven and Hannah at Tender Organic. You can find their handles right below their pictures there. I'm Josh. I play Mortimer Greaves. I am no longer on social media, so also ignore the handle below. I need to get rid of that. You can find Take Initiative on Twitter at TI_pod. When you're over there, we are currently running an Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms giveaway. You can see Nick's shirt there. You can win an Idle Champions shirt and also some good stuff in the game called a Founders Pack 2 by just tweeting out the hashtag Taking Initiative Champions. It's currently the second giveaway, which is going to end Sunday at midnight Eastern, and then the third giveaway starts Monday and will be going on for the next 2 weeks. You can find information on the pinned tweet on our page, and also the Idle Champions giveaway episode that came out 2 weeks ago, and you can get information there. For any other information for Taking Initiative, go to takinginitiativepodcast.com. You can find our links, information about us, the show, notable people, Patreon donors, so you can go to patreon.com /Taking Initiative and find out information there, like how to get priorities with questions, get episodes early, and also get access to bonus content. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. If you want to catch more episodes of this show when you missed it on Twitch, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can find the link also on our website. And I think that about covers it. So, yeah, we won't be back until after the new year. So have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy New Year and everything that's going to be happening in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we will see you all again on January 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Woo! Bye,
Right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.